snacks, whatever you need, whatever you want to get from this, that is what I do. If that interests you, consider subscribing to this channel, giving this video a thumbs up or hype points to push it out to other viewers like you who might be interested in this content. That would mean a lot. Last I checked, we were at 17 subscribers, I think, and hello to all 17 of you. Very good to meet you, very good to see you, glad you're all here. In fact, you actually look fabulous, more fabulous than the last time I took a picture, and some of you weren't in that picture, so we definitely need to take a picture, so go ahead and focus. Okay, I'm gonna need to get your hair out of the way, just get your hair out of the way for this picture. I really need a picture to put on my desk, y'all. New picture, okay? Focus. Okay, ready. Stunning, fantastic, amazing, never the same again. Okay, so I'm actually recording in like the middle of the day. I think it's like 2 p.m., which really doesn't matter for whenever you watch this, but I just think it's kind of funny, and I wanted to say so because I'm just so I'm used to recording these so late at night that recording in the middle of the day is really like tripping me up. And you know, I'm making my room all dark. Thankfully I have blackout curtains and stuff because it's really sunny outside. Should I show? No, I'm not gonna show you. Something I will show you though is I have a new daughter. I showed y'all my new daughters last episode, but I have another one who joined my little family, so I'm gonna show you to her. One sec. Look at her hair. Look at her face. Focus. Hello. He said they will settle the entire due amount ASAP. This came as a breath of fresh air. They listed out all the help I did for them and acknowledged how courteous we were during our follow-ups. I am feeling so much gratitude and peace now. I am relieved. I love when you get unexpected money. In this case, it's something that, like, you know, was owed. So I don't know what the circumstances are there, but I mean, I'm glad that years later it was finally settled and you can now really put that to rest. And yeah, I just think it's great when you get unexpected funds returned onto you. I worked at Forever 21 like 5 years ago, and I only worked there for like maybe 4 or 5 months, maybe less than that. I actually don't remember. But I remember like a year later, I got a check in the mail for a class action lawsuit, and it was like $80, and I was severely struggling at that time, and I was like, couldn't believe it. Very thankful. Shout out that class action lawsuit. I don't know what it was about, but I mean, thanks for including me. D. That also happened with Hot Topic, and I only worked at Hot Topic for like 2 days. Anyway, let's continue on. We are now moving to the subreddit r/faith in humanity. The title of this story is Trucker Blocked an Entire Highway and Saved Me. So let's see what happened. This happened a few years ago. I was on the highway around the end of rush hour, heading to an important meeting with a client. My father had an older sports car, and it was my main vehicle at the time. So that's what I was driving. It never gave me any problems before, but decided today of all days was the day it would give me hell. Picture this. I'm in the center lane in a bumper-to-bumper crawl when my car suddenly breaks down. I mean, engine gone, battery gone, lights off, dead in every way as soon as traffic gets moving and everyone starts speeding up. Oh my god, this is like my worst nightmare. I also want to note that people tend to drive very recklessly in this particular area. Speeding, drinking, crashing, just no regard for life, and overall very dangerous. And here I am, now stuck in a tiny little car in the center lane, surrounded by the most impatient and dangerous drivers on earth. Tell me this is LA. Tell me this is somewhere in LA County. I wouldn't be surprised. I put my hazards on, and the cars behind me eventually start clearing around me and going into the other lanes. I call my dad distraught. I'm gonna miss the meeting. I don't know what to do, and while drivers are speeding past and around me so dangerously, I feared being rear-ended or ran over. Luckily, my dad was able to hop in another vehicle to get me, but he was a solid 30 minutes away, and there was nothing I could do but pray and wait. While on the phone with him, I see a big semi-truck coming up behind me. I thought he didn't see my hazard lights and got pretty worried as he started curving his truck bed. To my amazement, he used his truck to block all 3 lanes of traffic, hopped out of his cab, and ran towards my car, full-on sprint, knocking on the window and asking if I was alright. I couldn't roll it down, so I opened the door and told him my situation, trying not to cry from stress, of course. He told me not to worry and instructed me to put my car into that's just so sweet. Why do I feel like, yeah, I get that vibe from like truckers, and this is just, oh my god, wow. Because like, oh, that's the thing, like, especially on the road and like in America, people are so selfish, like so selfish. I mentioned it in my last video, but I just think people really need to just take a deep breath and figure it out without putting anyone else in harm's way, and just like think of others. Like, and I myself need to adhere to this advice also, because sometimes I get really angry, not sometimes, all the time I get really angry, or on this weird like ego trip when I drive. Like, if somebody who is behind me decides to speed up and go around me, that makes me so upset, and then I speed up to get back in front of them, and I'm like, literally, why does this matter? This doesn't matter. So the fact that like this truck driver took time out of their day to block off 3 highway lanes and help Uppy is just fantastic. And all these other people just speeding by with like no, it's just so like, oh my god. Let's continue on. Another story from r/Faith in Humanity. Cashier spotted my breakfast after my card was declined. This morning, I stopped by the gas station like usual to get a cup of coffee and something to eat for breakfast. The total was $13, but I couldn't afford it because a bill hit my account sooner than I expected. I hate when that happens. I literally had no money. I was ready to call my dad for her spot, but the cashier spotted me the money and paid for my purchase. I will absolutely be going back to pay her when my check hits today. That's just like, oh my god. And like, I'm sure like this cashier also isn't making huge amounts of money, you know, so oh my god, that's just so sweet. That reminds me of like people who will just randomly pay for the person behind them at drive-thrus, and like that's happened to me before. I don't know if it's happened to y'all, but I think it's happened to me like twice. Once at a coffee drive-thru years ago, and another time at like a burger fast food place. Like I literally just got up ready to pay, and they told me, oh, the person in front of you got it, and like I couldn't even find the person to thank because they drove off because they got their food. I'm just, oh my god, I've always wanted to do that. I should really do that. I'm doing pretty well lately. I should do that for somebody. If I could, I would do that every single time I got food. You see, yeah, shout out this cashier, and that butterfly effect is going crazy, I'm sure. Also, if you could tell, I just moved my mic up because I felt like I was crouching down, and I'm about good posture, so not that this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Some of you probably just have your eyes closed, and I'm sorry I distracted you with an anecdote about my mic, but anyway, we're gonna continue on. I have some highlights from the subreddit r/good news. So this first post is, got my appendix removed after 2 months of pain. For 2 months, I've been in and out of hospital with the worst pain in my life, and doctors had no idea what the cause was. But that wasn't from a lack of trying. Ultrasounds and CTs didn't show my appendix. I had a rumbling appendix, so it would flare up, but not go full-blown appendicitis, so it was hard to detect and diagnose. It changed a few days ago. After months of pain, it's finally been resolved. Good news, because they found the cause and it wasn't cancer, and now I can recover. My sister is also coming down to see me, and I love her so much. As an 18-year-old boy, I'm unashamed to admit that, and I haven't seen her since December. Here's to an explanation of the worst pain of my life, treatment, and recovery. Okay, that's crazy that they could not figure what it was for 2 months, and OB didn't put like what the cause is, but I'm gonna assume it was like some kind of issue with their appendix. But I mean, I don't know, without I have my appendix. I haven't gotten it removed because I haven't needed to, but because of how, like, you know, unimportant the appendix is, you'd think that they would like do more to try to figure out like if it's that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how doctors operate. I just feel like sometimes it's like 2 months of pain and now the appendix is moved and everything is fine. Like, I don't know. I just feel like we could have figured that out sooner. But regardless, very happy for OP. I can't imagine what kind of relief he must be feeling. So fantastic. All right, next post in r/good news. The title is simply "Kitties Are Safe." Guest in the hotel I work at was traveling with 2 cats. They both escaped in the middle of a tourist district with mean raccoons, coyotes, and bears roaming the area. He was a long-term guest, so he borrowed live traps from the local shelter, and now, about 12 days later, he's got both cats back. This after catching and releasing 2 raccoons. I just want to know what hotel I just want to know what, why can't I speak? I just want to know where has raccoons and coyotes and bears roaming the area. I mean, I don't know geography, and I certainly don't know much about bears to know their like traveling habits, because it's like where I live, I know there's raccoons and there's definitely coyotes, RIP to my dogs, but bears, that's so crazy. Oh my god, I'm so glad that those cats are okay. Next in r/good news, this is a day old. It says, United Nations rejects U.S. effort to erase trans women. It stops here. One advocate accused the U.S. of being willing to lie to push forward their own gender ideology onto people in the UN system. I will put the link in the description to this article, kind of going into more detail, but I think any LGBTQ plus win is a win for all, especially with all of this going on, like all the attacks on trans people. It's really scary. As a woman, I'm gonna keep it light. Just as a woman, it really freaks me out a lot because I'll be the next target, you know, so that's great, really great to see. Definitely check out the article. And finally, in r/good news, high schooler invents filter that eliminates 96% of microplastics from drinking water. Okay, this also has an article attached that I will link in the description. I'm just gonna open it really quickly so I can get the name of the teenager. Mia Heller from Virginia. Oh my gosh. Wow, protect this child. Get it out into the world, please. Oh my god. For the most part, I'm just kind of like, you know what, my plastics, they're in me. Whatever. It's a plastic world. I've got microplastics in me. But if I think about it for too long, I'll freak out. So it's nice to know we've got smart people like this on the case. So shout out Mia Heller. Alright, we're moving on to r/heartwarming. This first story says, neighbor left lasagna on my porch after a rough week. I'm already gonna cry. Work's been kicking my ass lately. Long shifts, barely sleeping, feeling like I'm running on empty. Got home last night and there's a foil pan on my doorstep with a sticky note. Made too much lasagna. Figured you might want some. Hope your week's better soon. just a small thing, but it felt like someone actually noticed I'm struggling. Stuff like this keeps me going. Anyone else had a neighbor pull something nice out of nowhere? Dog, I'm actually gonna cry. I'm getting so choked up. It's just like a little really does go a long way. Like Opie says, they've only said hi to this neighbor a couple times, but she still went out of her way to share food that she made. Oh my god. I don't know why I'm like, well, I know why this is just so precious. I love people, and I really do believe that kindness does so much for others, for the soul, for the world. Like, I really believe in the butterfly effect and karma. So yeah, that's just, that's really nice. Moving on. The title of this next one is My Little Brother Saved His Pocket Money for 6 months to buy me new headphones after mine broke. He came into my room, placed the box on my desk, and said, "You always let me use yours. Now it's your turn." He's 11. I hugged him so tightly he complained he couldn't breathe. Best gift I've ever received. Oh my god, y'all, I am going to sob on this ASMR channel. Oh my god. Okay, let's take some breaths. Let's take a breath together, 2 of them. Let's inhale. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. And again, let's inhale. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Okay, I think I'm alright. Not that it would have been bad to cry over these stories, but I needed to relax a little bit. My emotions were getting just a little out of whack. Alrighty, let's move on to our next story. This is from r/random acts of kindness, and the title is Someone Stayed on the Phone with My Mom in a Parking Lot. I think I'm already gonna cry again. A while back, my mom got turned around driving in an area she didn't know well. She isn't good with Google Maps or anything of that sort. For whatever reason, it all hit her at once. She pulled into a parking lot, got overwhelmed, and called the number on a nearby business sign just to ask for directions because she was too flustered to think straight. The woman who answered could have just told her where to turn and hung up, but instead she stayed on the phone with her for several minutes, calmly walking her through each step and waiting while she repeated it back. At one point she even said, "You're okay, don't rush, we'll get you there." My mom told me later that the directions helped, obviously, but what really got to her was that the woman could hear she was panicking and chose patience instead of irritation. It cost her basically nothing, but my mom still talks about her like she threw her a rope. That reminds me of this one time, a few months ago. I was out with my boyfriend and we went to like a boba shop, and on our way out, her doctor, like, she was looking for a doctor's office, and it was one she'd never been to before. And she had the directions written out on a notepad, and she was just like all turned around. Oh my god, she was actually really close to it. I quickly looked it up on my phone, and all she had to do was just go out onto the main road, turn right, go down like about like half a mile, and the office was gonna be like right on the right hand side. I showed her a picture of what the sign looked like, since because it was a main road, it's not like it was like in a plaza, it was just like literally on the right. And then my boyfriend and I, she didn't ask us to do this, but we followed her just to make sure she turned into the right spot, and she did. And oh my god, it's just so important to help people. Shout out to this lady. Was on the clock probably and did not need to help this woman, but she did. And oh my god, yeah, that last bit is so important. That the woman chose patience instead of irritation. I think we all can learn lessons in patience. I definitely can. So, oh my god, amazing. I feel like I need to cry. Happy tears, but I feel like I need to cry. So, we're gonna conclude this episode with 2 posts from r/silly confession. The first one is titled, I say thank you green light every time it stays green.